ReCalibur, eco-tools and youth work for collective creativity.
Hi, welcome to this ReCalibur video tutorial on a method called Fortitude. Fortitude is a live action roleplay game that addresses the issues brought by government actions and introduces the complexity of making ethical decisions while defending geopolitical interests of countries. The game allows players to step into the shoes of diplomats that enter a large summit in the year of 2050, which will define the steps that the world community will take in order to continue co-living after the climate catastrophe. For this method to work, you will need a group of 10 to 35 participants. The duration would be between 1.5 to 3 hours for implementing the game and at least 30 minutes for the debriefing. You will also need several spaces for the activity. One space designed as the summit area and another space for mingling and networking of the characters. You will need next game materials, game printouts, character cards, name tags, voting papers, flip chart and markers, laptop with projector, and an audio speaker. You can also have optional character attributes connected to some national elements. To prepare Fortitude, you need to brief the team. You will need a minimum of 2 facilitators to run the activity who will assume the roles of the chairperson and the secretary. Make sure to read all game materials to be ready for various scenarios. Set up the rooms according to the game instruction and inform participants that this will be a longer activity. Facilitators do not need to have any exceptional knowledge about climate issues. The game scenario should be printed per each facilitator, and each of them should prepare in a bit of a different manner. The chairman should briefly read the personal objectives of characters and prepare for performing the role of the main talker and activity leading person, while the secretary should study the Google spreadsheet with the voting system and learn how to screen its results in real time for the participants. The game starts with the player preparation stage. Explain where the in-game and off-game areas are, make a clear division between these two, give a short introduction to role-playing, and explain the safety rules and mechanics of the game. Distribute to each player their character materials, tell them exactly when the game will start and how much time they will have to read the cards and create personas of their characters. Explain the structure of the game. Tell how much time each part will take. Prepare a clock in the in-game area where the players will be able to check time easily. Explain the mechanics of voting. Show them where to place the votes, who will collect them, and how the results will be visible during the game. Explain clearly that voting is part of the game mechanics, so it cannot be changed by the participants or the players inside the game. Introduce the non-player characters, played by the facilitators. Make a point that non-playable characters can change the rules of the game anytime or add more in-game information if they feel it's important. If you have time, then facilitate a few story-based activities of establishing relations between the characters in the game. For example, by improvising flashback scenes of characters' previous encounters. And now you are ready to move to the 90-minute game stage. Gather all players and non-playable characters in the in-game area and start the activity by having the chairman opening the Lugano Peak, making a short speech about the global climate catastrophe. Divide then the game into 3 phases. First, the continental discussion. The players should stay in the groups from the same continents. Their task is to try to reach a common strategy, which probably will not happen because their objectives are contradicting with each other. Second stage would be the coffee break, where the players are still inside of the game, but now they can walk freely around and talk in any small constellations and in any groups and have even personal discussions. It is good to also have some snacks and hot drinks available at that part of the game. Make it look like a conference having a coffee break. And the third stage is the voting room. Initiate the time for voting. The players may submit their votes at any time during that phase, and each player should submit all votes together on one piece of the voting card. Later is the managing voting stage. The secretary should be collecting voting cards and immediately putting the results to make it visible to all the players. Once everyone voted and we have the results, the final part of the game comes. The chairman takes the lead. The voting ended in a draw. The chairman can improvise a quick overtime decision, and when the results of the voting are ready, announce the results officially, wrap up the story, make comments on what happened, and give a warm thanks to the diplomats, activists, and all the other characters in the game. But don't end the game yet. In the meantime, the secretary prepares the speakers and the recording. First, arranging all the tracks in the number of the votes that were taken. The chairman, after announcing the results of the voting, should keep the attention of the players and start reading the afterword. While the chairman reads the afterword, the secretary starts playing the background music. The background will continue to flow until the end of the game, while the short tracks about different priorities with different stories will be playing one after another. When the Fortitude recordings are finished, the game is officially over. The chairman should softly announce it to the players and move to the de-rolling and debriefing stage, or de-roll and hold a short break before the debriefing. Before moving to the debriefing, we recommend performing a de-rolling exercise for players to really get out of the role and support them in taking, say, a helicopter view on what has been happening during the roleplay. Each group is different, and each event can have different outcomes, so the facilitators should create a debriefing that will fit the needs of the players and the objectives of the event. Here is just a suggestion of one form of a debriefing. It could be a good idea to divide the players into groups of 4 to 5 people and let them talk in these small groups. You can choose a facilitator for each group and provide them with a printout that has some questions on it. And in the second part of the debriefing, you could have the whole group speaking in plenary and sharing their experiences. Roleplay games allow us to see situations from various perspectives and maybe even take the role of a devil's advocate in order to understand the complexity of certain issues. Even though this activity can be not very comfortable for players who should defend, say, bad interests of their states, it allows them to learn the potential fears, arguments, and interests that can be used by the other side. I enjoy using Fortitude as a way to take a look at the global scale and then bring it back down to the participants' area of influence. To run Fortitude, you need to be comfortable with facilitating live-action roleplay games, setting the mood, creating a safe space, and dealing with unexpected turns of events. Before trying Fortitude, make sure to gather a team who will be co-facilitating it and play through the activity on a smaller scale. Fortitude has been created as a result of a European Solidarity Corps project implemented by Nausicaa Foundation from Poland.
ReCalibur, Eco-Tools and Youth Work for Collective Creativity, is co-founded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Commission through the Slovak National Agency NIVM.